no break from the Washington-Dallas rivalry this week because Mike McCarthy has thrown a little gasoline on the fire by essentially guaranteeing a win. Ron Rivera, the coach of the Washington football team, responded to that. Now Jerry Jones is splashing a little extra on top of it. Maybe not gasoline, not necessarily jet fuel, maybe some of the lighter fluid, like when you squirt it on the fire and it goes away quickly. Here's that little flash fire from Jerry Jones. I used to love doing that as a kid. I had no idea. Yeah, not that I was unsupervised running around the grill squirting lighter fluid, but I used to love it when it
like the pyro.
I used to love the whoosh. Hey, I was a Kiss fan. I mean, you want to see that fire flash whenever you can. No, but it was close. Anyway, here's Jerry Jones talking about the rivalry between Dallas and Washington on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas from earlier today.
We have always sold more cowboy memorabilia, hats, caps, T-shirts. We've always had our greatest fan support, positive, coming from Washington. And that's outside the Dallas area. Washington is where we have the most, outside the Texas area. Washington is where we have the most support of all when you come to all the things you might count.
A little twisting of the knife, a little sticking it. And we've seen the images of FedEx Field on some of these Washington games. Now, I don't know what it's going to look like on Sunday because maybe it will be full of Cowboys fans. There's a lot of empty seats at those games, and the support just isn't there. The team hasn't been good. But you know what? Lately, they have been. They've won 4 in a row. They're in a position to make things extremely interesting in the NFC East if they beat the Cowboys because it's a 2-game lead by Dallas. There's 5 games left, and Washington and Dallas play twice down the stretch. So this went from a game that was, mildly interesting to a very compelling, like this is the one to watch in the 1 o'clock window. Between that one, San Francisco and Cincinnati's late afternoon as well. That's the one then. Maybe Ravens-Browns. I gotta throw Ravens-Browns into it since it's the rematch of a game from 2 weeks ago and it's a critical game in the AFC North. But Dallas-Washington is a huge, huge game. It feels like it should be played later in the day.
Yeah, you know what, it does, and it's really interesting kind of that it's not. But I think that I also thought it was interesting that you had Ron Rivera come out and say multiple times this week, like, hey, we need our fans in the building. We need you guys to be loud. We need this. We need that. And it's not like something that's unknown. At least I feel like I knew it before, that there are a lot of Cowboys fans in the DMV area because probably like you, Mike, they like to be a little bit contrarian, right? You got all these Washington fans, and Baltimore, the Ravens haven't been there except for, 20, 25 years. So before that, you had people who were Washington fans and also Cowboys fans, and they like to clash. They like to argue, whatever it is. So it doesn't surprise me to hear Jerry Jones say that kind of thing, but it also wouldn't surprise me if there were a bunch of Cowboys fans in the stands, because before Washington actually got on this run that they're on and they're starting to win more games, Cowboys fans probably picked those things up because they thought, hey, we might see the Cowboys clinch the NFC East in this building. So it'll be interesting to see what the division of fans is there at FedEx Field. And who knows? I mean, like, if it could sound like a Cowboys game, it'll be interesting to see if Heineke's got to go silent count early. That's always a telltale sign of like what the fan support is like in the building. If your home quarterback has to go silent count in order to get the snap.
The contrarian in me that made me not a Steelers fan growing up, I would have glommed on to one of the other teams in the division if they all didn't stink at the time, whether it's the Browns, your Browns, the Bengals, or the Oilers. They all stunk in the early 70s, or maybe, just maybe, I would have been a fan of one of those 3 teams. And if the Ravens had been around then, might have been a Ravens fan. But yeah, it's just so stupid. How stupid that I just didn't go along with the crowd. I would have gotten to enjoy 6 Super Bowl victories and counting during my lifetime. All right, real quickly, Josh McDaniels. Well, that's true. I said that yesterday. I wouldn't be in this seat if that desire to have the team that I followed as a kid win a Super Bowl had come to fruition. I probably wouldn't be, because it kept me passionate about the NFL beyond the 70s, beyond the 80s, beyond the 90s, and we launched 20 years ago as of November 1 of this year in 2001.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.